Which critical meeting could have been handled with a 5-minute phone call? Battalion Commander's Emergency Leadership Meeting. We got the email at 6 in the morning. All officers and senior NCOs report to conference room by 0800. Mission critical, no exceptions. I was a platoon sergeant at the time. Had 30 soldiers doing morning PT when the notification came through. Had to hand them off to my squad leader and rush back to get dressed in my service uniform. The email said dress uniform required. That meant something serious. Nobody wears dress uniform to regular meetings. I showed up at 0745. Conference room was packed. Every officer from lieutenant to colonel, every sergeant from staff sergeant up. Maybe 60 people crammed into a space built for 30. The colonel hadn't arrived yet. We all stood around wondering what crisis had erupted. Equipment failure, deployment orders, safety incident. Lieutenant Nash whispered to me, "Think we're getting called up? Maybe. This feels big." 0800 came. Colonel still wasn't there. We kept waiting. Standing room only, everybody sweating in dress uniforms, checking phones nervously. 0815, still nothing. The major started making calls. Nobody could reach the colonel. 0830. Finally, someone's phone rang. It was Captain Devon Shaw, the battalion executive officer. He answered, listened for 30 seconds, then his face went completely blank. He hung up and addressed the room. "The colonel will not be attending. The meeting is postponed until further notice." Sergeant Wade Knox spoke up. "Sir, what's the emergency? What's this meeting about?" Shaw looked uncomfortable. "The colonel will brief everyone when he's available. You're all dismissed." 60 people in dress uniforms pulled from their morning duties, standing around for 45 minutes. And we still had no idea why we were there. We all went back to our companies confused and frustrated. My soldiers had finished PT and were asking what the emergency was. I had no answers. 3 hours later, another email. Meeting rescheduled for 1300 hours. Same location, same dress uniform requirement. So we did it all over again. Changed back into dress uniform. Walked to the conference room, packed in like sardines. This time the colonel showed up at exactly 1300. He walked to the front of the room with a piece of paper in his hand. Everybody went silent, ready for whatever bomb he was about to drop. "Gentlemen, thank you for your flexibility today. I needed to brief you all on an important policy change that takes effect immediately." Here it comes, I thought. New deployment, budget cuts, force reduction. The colonel cleared his throat. "Effective immediately, the hours for the post gym will be changing. It will now open at 0500 instead of 0600 and close at 2200 instead of 2100. Dead silence. You could hear people breathing. "That's it. Questions?" Nobody moved. We'd all been pulled from our duties twice. Spent 3 hours total in dress uniforms for a gym hours announcement. Finally, Lieutenant Nash raised his hand. "Sir, couldn't this have been an email?" The colonel looked genuinely confused. "This is an important change that affects base readiness. I wanted to ensure everyone in leadership was informed directly." Captain Shaw tried to help. "Sir, with respect, gym hours don't typically require an emergency battalion formation." The colonel's face started turning red. He was realizing how this looked. "The post commander specifically requested I personally brief all leadership on this change. He felt it was important for morale." Wade leaned over to me and whispered, "The post commander probably sent him an email and he panicked." We got dismissed. 60 people walked out shaking their heads. I had to explain to my platoon that the big emergency was gym hours. Private Curtis Vance asked, "Sergeant, you're joking, right? That's not actually what the meeting was about." "Wish I was joking, Vance." The story spread across the entire base by dinner. Soldiers from other battalions were making fun of us. "Hey, did you hear the gym opens earlier now? Better call an emergency formation." That evening, the colonel sent out an apology email. Said he'd overreacted to the post commander's request. Future policy changes would be handled through normal communication channels. But the damage was done. For the rest of my time at that base, whenever someone called an emergency meeting, soldiers would joke, "What is it this time? Are they changing the commissary hours?" The colonel retired 6 months later. At his farewell ceremony, someone gave him a gift. A framed copy of that gym hours memo with a plaque that read, "Worth 2 formations." He actually laughed and displayed it in his office until his last day.